Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa. Hey,
there,
okay,
oh,
there we go. There we go.
there he is, in the basement again.
Captain and co-founder of Boston the Brewer.
What's that?
That's your new official title, Captain and co-founder of Boston the Brewer.
Oh, fuck off. Oh, what's going on, mate?
What are you giving up to do this podcast? I thought you would be out doing events at Pint of Origin and shit like that.
No, I'm just having a quiet night in this evening. So, for those listening, I'm currently in Melbourne. I just flew down today, and um, I'm here for a few days. It's going to be a lot of fun, actually. So, there's so much happening. So tomorrow I'm going to see a couple of clients, that sort of thing, and then tomorrow night I got a date
Okay.
with Mazen.
Fair enough. Oh, sad I can't be there. It was a lot of fun last time.
Yeah, should be good. So I just rang Mazen this afternoon and just checking in on him and
Mate, that guy must spend a lot of time on the phone. I worry about the amount of time he must spend on the phone.
yeah, I reckon he spends. He was on his actually he wasn't on the phone when I spoke to him on the phone today.
He wasn't on the phone.
Mm-mm.
You or to someone else.
No, it was Mazen, but he was on his bike on the phone. Actually, push pedaling his pushy whilst being on the phone. Oh, your sound stopped.
My sound stop?
Oh yeah, there you go. That's better.
Fuck was that? There's a lot of shit going on around here.
It's Labrador, mate.
This is the Dan shed, and
It's looking good, mate.
it's full. We just got a toilet put in today, so
Yeah. Where's the scooter
yeah.
parking?
I mean, there's plenty of room down here. There's room there for the bike. There's room for the
Yeah.
Land Rover there
Yeah.
somewhere.
But
You
you don't
wouldn't
put the
fit a
car
full
under
size
there.
car in here. You'd fit the Land Rover. You wouldn't fit a normal size car under here.
Okay.
Well, you wouldn't fit an SUV under here. You'd fit a small car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my van
Um,
wouldn't fit under here.
yeah, so I'm gonna catch up with Mazen tomorrow night and then on Thursday, Adam Shell and Joel rock up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday's the ABA day.
Yeah. So they're rocking up on Thursday. So I thought it'd be funny to get them to go to the ARBA dinner. Some
Yeah,
point
hell
to get
yeah,
to the ARBA dinner.
nice.
And
That's good.
so they're flying down on Thursday. Then Thursday night's probably going to be a big one. You know what ARBA dinner's like. It's always a big
Yeah.
one.
Are they going to
And
be doing content there?
I suppose so. They're probably making some quality content, no doubt.
Yeah, nice.
And then Friday, probably sleep. I'm gonna probably catch up with one of my students who's working down here on Friday, and then fly back Saturday. And then first thing Sunday morning, I'm off to Ho Chi Minh City.
Oh shit, what's happening there?
Off for the Brew Asia Tech Sessions. So I'm speaking in Ho Chi Minh City on Tuesday and Bangkok on Thursday, I think.
Nice.
Hmm.
Oh, that'll be good.
And then
You're back to your old tricks.
back Saturday and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's been like huge week of like booking travel. So I've just got the flights and everything to South Africa all sorted. I'm flying Qantas actually to Johannesburg. It's actually really good. It's like via Sydney and then Sydney Johannesburg direct.
How far's that?
It's 14 hours there and 10 hours back.
God, Jesus Christ.
That's not
I don't
bad.
know how you do that. Yeah. Not bad if you
The
don't mind flying.
the flight from Vancouver to Brisbane was 15 and a half hours. That was long.
Jesus. Yeah,
Like
that's too long.
yeah, I'd had enough by then.
You
But
you pop some Valium or some shit, or just drink some wine
yeah,
or something.
I usually have melatonin.
What's that?
It's like the drug that your body makes when you want to sleep
Okay.
naturally. And so I do that, and that just puts me to sleep.
Oh, that's
And
good.
it helps to set my body clock and that sort of thing as well,
Hmm.
where I'm going. So yeah, that
This
should
is
be pretty
turning
good.
into the Joe Rogan podcast very quickly.
How so?
We're just talking about supplements and shit. Just
We're not selling them though.
do
So, yeah.
you,
Anyway, how are you
we
doing?
should. I'm here.
Been a wild week, hasn't it?
Been a wild week. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Lots of big news today.
I'd prefer if you, yeah, well, yeah, not just today, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really talk about it, and I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just questioning everything at the moment, I think.
Yeah. Are you doing all right? As in mental health wise?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just
I'm
checking in
still,
with you.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured maybe you could do most of the talking on this episode.
Okay.
I was hoping there's not much news other than all this Black Ops shit that I can't really talk about and I don't want to.
Yeah.
And it's fucking depressing. It's just depressing. The whole fucking thing's depressing. I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even. I don't even know if we should do this podcast anymore, or if I should do it anymore.
Why is that?
Well, I just don't know how much value it's going to bring to anyone. I mean, I only have my experience in the industry, which is now just has so much pain associated with it. It's not really. I don't really feel like I've got any value to give. Really, it's just pain.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the industry anymore, and the industry is struggling to a point where it's just like every fucking week. I've only got
Yeah.
3 things in the list. It's all bad shit.
Mm.
So who's going to listen to it? Like, who wants to fucking listen to it? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's time to fucking pass the baton to someone else who can do it more justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Who do
know.
we
Well,
pick?
you're good. You're still in the industry. You're still quite positive about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know how much value I'm given here. You know?
Yeah. Well, you've got your experience now. It's like we have pretty you and I have got very much shared history as far as the industry goes now. So, and it's probably
Oh,
pretty it's raw. I get it, 100%.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've been through similar bad things, but I'm not coming back to the industry.
No.
Let's face it. So you're back in it, which makes sense for you to do a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. Maybe I need to listen to some other podcasts. I just don't know what the fuck we talk about if unless it's just going to be this negative shit that no one wants
Mm,
to hear. We don't want to talk
mm,
about it.
mm.
What are we going to fucking talk about?
Well, we haven't gone through this year's Gabs beers.
Okay, all right, let's do that. Sorry. Oh god, it's been a big day, Hendo. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all
Uh,
right. I get it. As he
mm,
sips his sparkling, whatever the fuck that is.
that's rosé because I had planned to go to Matic on the way home to get some beers for the show, and
Yes.
they were closed, which I didn't realize. They're now my local brewery, but
Yeah.
I suppose they don't open Monday, Tuesdays.
Oh, I don't know, but yeah, okay. I'm drinking something local. I decided to pick up something local, so I've got the
Night,
Stomping
all
Ground
right. Let's get a
Street,
screenshot of that. Did
Stomping
you
Ground
go to Stomping Ground?
Street Pale Ale. No. It's in every bottle shop here, and I actually got a four pack
Yeah,
of I got a 4 pack of Hawker's West Coast IPA as well, and a 4 pack of
nice.
JD and Coke Zero.
There you go. When in Rome,
Mm.
um, we used to go to Stomping Ground every year and went down there. It was just like it was just a standard. You just go there as the first thing.
Oh, it's a great spot.
The best.
I think Adsy and Joel want to go see some breweries on Friday and that sort of thing. And I basically said, yeah, cool. Let's not go too far. So it's probably going to be over to they're staying in the same hotel that I'm staying in,
Yeah,
and so they'll probably head over to Collingwood, go to Stompo,
you go to Bod
uh,
Ricky and get a vegetarian sandwich or something.
Body and get something with red meat in it. Yeah, and and yeah, should be good. So yeah, I'm just looking just
Have you been anywhere yet? Have you been sort of out to any?
no, I literally just got here. I had meetings this afternoon on Zoom, so I've just been sitting here. I ducked out to a Korean restaurant because I'm in the middle of Chinatown, So I ducked
Mm,
out to a Korean restaurant, had some fried rice with Spam in it, which was delicious.
nice.
And so I'm just chilling now, and tomorrow I'm going to get up and head down to Dandenong South and go see a couple of clients, that sort of thing. And yeah, it should be a good day.
I'll be interested to know. I mean, I was talking to Crafty Pint today, and James, and he was saying that the initial kind of feedback on Pint of Origin is that the places are doing quite well,
Yes,
and I suppose the places that sign up for it are probably the venues that are the better run venues. They got a good history with
yes,
it, got good
yes.
clientele, and they've been quite busy and they're doing well. So it'd be interesting to hear what it's like down there. Like we hear a
Crafty's
lot of
done a
bad news, but
he's done a great
yeah,
job with Pint of Origin because it's just such a good concept. People get it. It's accessible. You don't have to be a hardcore beer geek to enjoy it. And you go see some venues that you wouldn't otherwise go to, do a bit of a pub crawl.
mm,
It's good. It's good. I hope to do
yeah,
a couple of poos on the between now and when I go home.
okay, brilliant. Um, yeah, I was sort of thought with the Gabs thing that was going to kind of ruin the whole weekend with the no good beer week, but maybe be better. Maybe it'll just be the good venues doing stuff and less distraction. You don't feel the obligation to go to Gabs and
I'm quite relieved that Gabs isn't on this weekend because it was just going to be a lot to take in. You know,
mm,
um, it's already a big week, anyways. It's kind of like this year's been a real sort of like I got put on a rest year for the AIBAs, so I didn't judge
yeah,
at the AIBAs, which was last week. Had I have judged there, I would have flown down on Monday night to meet the orientation straight after class. Um, judge, fly home, teach again yesterday, and fly back down today, and that sort of thing. And this year's been pretty good, And then I would have stayed here, done Gabs and all that sort of stuff, and it's a big 2 weeks. But I'm kind of glad that I wasn't judging this year. Not to say that I don't want to. I want to hope I get invited to judge again next year. But it's good
yeah.
just to sort of have a little bit of a slowdown this year. It's because there's the thing, right? Honestly, this time of year in Melbourne is my favourite time of the year. I normally love, but it works better when you're living here because I could judge, then hang out,
Oh
do some
yeah,
and then
hundred
do
percent.
Gabs that weekend and stuff like that. I
Did they
genuinely love.
always do the judging the week before?
Always is the week before, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
So
that's a
they
fucking
always
fair
do the.
effort, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's 2,500 beers this year, and that sort of thing, as is usual.
Mm.
So I'm really curious to see how the results will turn out this week. We'll see if Adzi and Joel win the media award, and
That'd be cool,
it'll.
especially if they're there. That'd be
That's why
super cool.
that's kind of why I got them the ticket because I just want I love. I hope they win it. I really sincerely hope they win it because that was kind of like the a little bit selfish. I just wanted to be there when they win it. If they do win it, not going to get their hopes. No, not to get your hopes up or anything like that. That's the worst way to go into the AIBA dinner is with your
Yeah,
with some sort of attachment to an outcome and that sort of thing. But that said, should it be cool if they win it?
it would be cool. I think with Kierkegaard retiring and Crafty Pint really picking up, you know, the kind of mantle as the only really legitimate news source for the
Yeah,
industry and doing an
yeah.
amazing job. I don't know. I don't even know if they've entered, but it would be pretty hard not to give it to them. Um, but
Doesn't Crafty
yeah, I don't,
sponsor it?
I don't know.
Yeah, he sponsors it. I don't think.
So they're not even in it.
No, I don't think he's ever been in it.
Oh, okay. So it's like their kind of category
Hmm.
sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, fuck, that guy must be busy. I mean, I spoke to him at, I don't know what time, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours later, he's got the article on his website about the Black Ops thing. I had no idea.
Oh,
And neither did he.
I thought that's why he was calling you.
No, nothing to do with that. Any idea? We didn't even talk about it. Didn't even talk about the sale. I had no idea. And I
He
knew.
called you.
Yeah, he called me because I've known him for many years. Like it wouldn't be unusual for us to talk to each other. so I texted him the other day, and he sort of said we'll catch up soon, but it wasn't yeah, no, was not calling about the sale. That was like late afternoon news.
Okay.
And I had no clue. And I know Darren and Nick and all the guys, like they're Black Ops investors. I've known Darren for years. He was actually the first guy we ever pitched Black Ops to, and he said no, and eventually became an investor later.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like shit. Okay, this is all fucking news to me.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know anything about the sale, the details and stuff like that?
No, no, no. And I mean, it seems, yeah, again, I don't want to say anything about it because I don't know anything about it, and I'll probably say the wrong thing. And, obviously I just want people to be paid, really. I want, I think that would be the best outcome. I'm getting so many messages from people. Got a message from my mate in the Philippines who I've used for design for years and years. And he's like, oh, what's happening in Black Ops? I don't know what's happening with my invoice. He's like, he has no idea. He doesn't know what voluntary administration is. He has no idea. He's living in the Philippines drawing cartoons. He was the guy who did our original Gabs label.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And, there's people like that. And it's like, let's fucking feel bad about the whole fucking thing. And the outcome I would hope for is that people get paid and it doesn't ruin anyone's life. And then that's as good as I could hope for.
But, yeah, because there's a lot of it's early days. I mean, it's only just been announced, but I'm sure the details will come out over the next few days. But I sort of read the article and I was like, I got a lot of questions, about sort of what's happening, So, it looks like there's a new entity. Is it being sold? What happens to the employees and their entitlements and stuff like that? What happens to, obviously if there's a new entity, does that mean that the old entity is the one that's being liquidated?
And then the new entity gets all the assets and doesn't have to pay all the debts.
Well, that's right. And what happens to the crowdsourced funding shareholders and all that sort of stuff? None of that's mentioned at this time. So
no, and that's part of why I don't want to talk about it because I don't know anything about it. I kind of fear the worst, to be honest. I feel like I just know how these sort of situations work. Like it's you got to assume they haven't paid a premium, and you've got to assume that they're not going to pay like all the debts mentioned in that VA report, which I highly suggest people read if they're interested in the industry. And there's no way all that's getting paid back, right?
No,
there's no chance. So, there's going to be a lot of people that lose out, and anyway,
see what happens, I suppose.
See what happens. Yeah, and then I see on the on Crafty Point. Well, actually, he mentioned this to me because I called him afterwards. I was like, "Fuck, mate, what's going on?" He's like, "This all just happened this afternoon." And then he's like, "And then we're working on this story for Temple."
Yes, and Temple's closing down.
Temple's closing down. That story came out bloody half an hour, 20 minutes later.
Yeah, same. Just in the same article, I think that Temple have decided they're going to close down their brewery. And God, how long has Temple been around for? Ages.
Well, way before us. I remember that was one of the first breweries we ever went to.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God,
that was back in the brew cult days.
Yeah. Oh, way before. Temple's been around for yonks, man. I think that's really sad as well.
2011. So yeah, 2011. Well, we started 2014. Yeah.
So that's like at least 3 in a week.
Yeah,
there's some good things, I suppose, that the Black Ops brand will get preserved by the sounds of it, and I think that
who cares? Honestly, who cares about that? Like,
there's a lot of punters out there that are pretty happy with that, and
would they be happy if the expense is all the shareholders and all the debtors and people don't get paid? Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's like I said, it's early days. You don't know what's going to happen, but yeah.
And what is a brand really? Is it just what you stand for, or is it a name?
Yeah,
and a product? Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't, obviously to me doesn't mean what it used to. Maybe to other people it does. And I hope the new investors do well, because but the last thing you want is a fucking liquidation where you just get sold for parts and nothing happens.
Yeah.
And Darren's a good guy. I know him really well. He's a great guy. So I would wish them all the best, but I also
I see. Is he
worry.
part of the consortium?
He's the guy that was mentioned in the article.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which was just weird. I was texting him last week.
Okay.
It's just a weird feeling when stuff like this happens. You don't know about it, and then you just start wondering. You ask yourself, like, why? Like, are you actually friends with these people, or I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Temple and then Deeds, but this is exactly what we said. I said it at the start of the year that VAs is only the start. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what we predicted was going to happen is there's going to be more VAs, but more importantly, there's going to be liquidations and closures.
Yeah. Yeah.
And any company that makes it through VA in a successful way is doing very well, but those will be rare, I think.
Yeah. I
And
think if you look back at the whole, like the history of all of the VAs that we've had in the last couple of years, it was like, you go back to the Easy Times one, and that was a VA to restructure ownership, and then there was like the Parched one was a VA to sell it quickly, and then it was like, and then it sort of devolved into VAs to restructure debt and do the whole 10 cents on the dollar thing, and
right.
now it's
And
turning into
there's also a
liquidations.
bunch that we don't know about. Well, we do know about, but they haven't been reported on because they're not actual VAs. They're like this small business restructure thing,
That's right.
which
Yeah,
don't have to be communicated. So a
doesn't
lot of
get
this has been
published.
going
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yes.
But don't you just get the, like, again, I gotta be, I'm not talking about the Black Ops situation at all, but just overall, given all that history of everything, doesn't it all just feel a little bit fucking dodgy to you?
In what way? Like,
Well, just always like, I don't know. You read some of these reports, and it basically just says these companies have been run into the ground, trading insolvent most likely for a very long period of time, and then get 10 cents in the dollar on their debt and get back to work, or get liquidated, or get sold to people who already own it.
yeah.
I don't know. It
Mm,
feels
mm.
weird. I'm not saying there's anything dodgy. I just like, it feels like a weird way
It's not
to do
dodgy.
business.
It's just that market conditions have changed and changed significantly in the last 5 years, and I think it's just a sign of just that the industry has just matured, and
This does not
um,
look like maturity to me.
it's a shakeout. It's
Yeah.
the industry will mature because of it.
But when you say a shakeout, like, who are the people? Like, people lose it, and people lose a lot of money, right?
Yes, of course.
And it's not just the ATO. Like, when the ATO loses money, no one cares, and I get that.
Yeah.
But when
Well,
it's
so
every day,
I've maintained that right from the start when all these things started. Was I said, and I think I'm pretty sure I can quote myself. When these VAs happen, remember at the start when Easy Times went into VA, and it was just like, oh, they're going to restructure, they'll be back on their feet in 6 weeks, that sort of thing, and they were.
mm,
But I was there going, hang on a second, when this sort of thing happens, somebody gets fucked for money,
right, yeah,
and that is still the case.
right. And then the people that end up controlling the company are the people that came in, bought it for scraps, and
Hmm.
the people that have the money, and they're the ones that end up doing well. I mean, I guess the other argument is that anyone who puts forward a docker or buys in liquidation or buys in a sale is other people they're the ones backing the company, and they're the ones putting their dollar on the line to try and keep it going
Hmm.
when the current directors have clearly proven that they're incapable of doing it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I suppose there's an argument for that, and it is ballsy. I mean, it's fucking ballsy to buy a brewery. You
Yeah,
can't
in this
be
climate.
own it. I don't fully understand it, but it is fucking ballsy to buy a brewery
Yeah,
at this time.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was actually on the plane with Sabrina from the IBA today,
Oh yeah.
and we sort of we actually we we ran at each other just outside the lounge, and we're sitting near each. We weren't sitting next to each other, sitting near each other. But wound up staying. Well, she's just staying just around the corner from where I am, and that sort of thing. We had a good chat, and we had some pretty differing opinions. I'm optimistic at the moment, and I think that
Yeah.
everything that's going on now, I think that we're at or very near to the bottom, and I think that the direction here is either flat or upwards, and it's going to be a hard slog to get out of it. Sabrina didn't necessarily agree with that. But that's her opinion, and but I think that I think that we're at this point now where there's closures and stuff like that. It's going to be like this for a little while, but I just don't see it getting like any worse. Right? I'm not saying that's going to be the last closure or the last liquidation or the last VA or anything like that, but I just don't see it getting worse. And I think that if you look at the new owners of Black Ops and that sort of thing, they probably recognise the same thing. They probably recognise that we're at the bottom, and if you're going to buy something, buy it at the bottom of the market, and
Mm.
um, and build it up from there.
Um, I hope you're right. I don't think you are.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I suppose you're right. I mean, they if you're buying a business at the moment, you're getting it for a good price. You'd have to assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose it would be if you could if you could buy a brewery that has put $6-7 million into equipment and fit out and expansion and a team and products and a brand and everything else, and you can do it for not much, then that's fine. But what about the rest of the industry that um, has all that debt and that history and the
Mm.
struggles, and it can't just wipe out a bunch of debt? And I think there's more pain coming for sure. But I do think that I had this conversation with James today. I think that, and we've had it on this podcast, the best things about the craft beer industry are that sort of local aspect, the hiker type situation where you're making lots of interesting beers. You have lots of people coming in all the time. It's hyper local. You're offering something different into your community. That's the best things about the industry. That stuff's still alive and well.
Mm.
But they're just going to be brands that got way bigger than that, and
Yes.
those brands are going to
Or
really
they're
struggle.
they're sitting on the fence, right? It's
Yeah,
like there's the I mean Temple is a pretty bit of a classic one. It's like it's a brew pub in Brunswick, but it's also a decent sized production facility,
they
but
got
not
pretty big
big enough.
tanks, don't they? From memory,
What's that?
they got pretty big tanks from memory, and they always have, I think.
Yeah. But that's the thing. They've always straddled that brew pub versus distribution thing, and they've always been. You wrote about it, man. They've always been in the valley of death,
Mm.
and so in that regard, it's not surprising. Could they've, had this? Just talking to Sabrina about it today, is like if you're in the industry at the moment and you've got a brew pub operation and you're happy with where you're at and you're modestly profitable and you're modestly cash flow positive and all that sort of stuff, don't expand.
Fuck no.
Just just
Yeah.
weather the storm, Um,
Mm.
and then when you choose to
Yeah.
bust through that valley of death as quickly as you possibly can, and make sure you have the financial resources to be able to do so.
Well, I think that's the point, is the financial resources, and whether you've got profit or something else. I mean, industry people tend to know who actually owns the breweries. Like, craft beer is presented as a kind of a small business type, independent crafty type thing. But most, if not all, of the decent sized craft breweries have big money investors behind them,
Yeah.
and people in the industry know this. And I think expanding when you don't have that is super sketchy. I mean, that's effectively what happened to Black Ops. Like that, we never had that.
Mm, mm.
We only had a lot of people who put in a small amount of money. So if you're not running a tight ship in that situation, you're going to get into all sorts of problems. And I do suspect that there's bigger breweries at the moment that are also struggling, but they've just got investors who are prepared to weather the storm and keep putting money in.
Put money in, and that sort of thing,
Yeah, you'd have to assume that's what's happening with the bigger ones. I mean, there might be ones that are doing quite well. If some of these breweries have got such big venues, maybe they're doing pretty well. But,
oh, absolutely. There are some breweries that are doing well, but they're just not talking about it.
Yeah.
No one
What's your
wants
take on the BrewDog thing? That James kind of stepping down or sideways or across or whatever, and like they did an update not that long ago that I thought sounded pretty positive about how their business was going. Do you think they're struggling or?
Absolutely. This is a company that's just done crowdfunding for the last 15 years.
No, their last round was not a crowd. Do you remember that? So the last round they did with like this massive group of VCs at this huge valuation that had these like finance terms that were going to be very, very difficult to hit. And from memory, it was all going to come due in a couple of years, and which would be sort of now.
And big interest rate.
Everything I'd seen from them had looked pretty positive.
Yeah, but the whole growth has been on the back of crowdfunding and people tipping more money.
But they've been a profitable business. So yeah, they've had money to expand, but they've run a profitable business because of all the venues. Maybe not in Australia.
Profitable enough to provide a decent return for the amount of money that's been invested.
Well, who knows? I guess that's the question.
I mean, this is the thing, man. If you a typical production brewery that sells into the wholesale market can expect to make a 6% net profit at best.
Yeah.
And if I had the amount of money that a business like Black Hops or a brewery that size was turning over, if I had that amount of cash at that turnover for 6%, man, I just go put it in the bank. Much less work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, BrewDog,
and that's my point with BrewDog, right? Is
that wasn't profitable at all.
I'm sure BrewDog are profitable, but my question is that they're profitable on the back of just constant investment in cash. Granted, it's to grow. I get that. But if you tallied up the amount of the amount of capital that's been put into that business and the amount of profit that they're making, and I don't know either of those numbers, is it worth it? Are you better off putting your money in the bank in a term deposit?
As an investor? Do you mean?
Well, if you imagine if like it was one investor instead of the crowdfunding, instead of the venture capital and all that sort of shit. If you just tallied up all the money that had been tipped into BrewDog and then have a look at the P&L and go, right, what's the return, the yield basically, based on the amount of money that's been tipped in, is it worth it?
But that's not how startups work. Like people,
but BrewDog's
people are investing for people are investing for an exit. Like the first people who invested in BrewDog invested at $43 million valuation, right?
Yeah.
The last time they were valued, it was over $1 billion. So if they were to list, it's hypothetical, probably not going to happen, especially not at the moment. But if they were to list right now at over $1 billion or sell for over $1 billion, if you invest in the first round as a startup, you would make an absolute fucking humongous return on your investment. But if you invest in the last round, you'd make fuck all.
But and granted, that's fair as far as like a return on investment is. But what I'm talking about is purely about the yield of the amount of money that's been invested versus the amount of profit that's being made in the business.
Yeah, but you're measuring, but profit is not a fair measure. Like they've built one of the biggest brands in the world. Like you don't build one of the biggest brands in the world without a fuckload of money. This never happened in history. I get what you're saying. I thought it was strange that he's kind of stepped down or sideways or whatever the fuck he's done now.
Yeah,
because I felt like they've weathered such an insane storm under his leadership. Whoever is. I don't think he would step down on his own accord. Like I just kind of think whoever's controlling that company, it must have decided that now is the time, which to me would have nothing to do with the controversies because they seem to have weathered all of that, and that I haven't heard anything bad recently.
Mm.
So I kind of wonder whether it is actually just the state of the company is just not good, and
Well, I
I don't
think
know.
I think Brewdog is too big to be Punk anymore.
But the funny thing is, his personal following is way bigger than Brewdog. Do you know that?
Yeah,
It's fucking crazy.
yeah.
His Instagram's got like 1 million followers. Brewdog's got like 200,000 or something. I
Interesting.
better fact check that. But I did look at it the other day because I was digging into it. And I was like,
I'm
this is
getting
weird.
I'm going to get a drink. Should I get a Jack Daniels or should I get a Hawker's West Coast IPA?
Hawker's West Coast IPA. Let's
There you go.
support the independent breweries while we can. While you're doing that, I'm going to Instagram James Watt. I assume Hendo has his headphones in. James Watt has 972,000 followers on Instagram.
Is that right?
Brewdog, he does a lot of personal content. Brewdog has 835,000. So they're one of the biggest brands in the world, at least in the beer industry. He has more followers on his personal Instagram than the entire company does. And you know how many followers Martin has?
Who?
I'm friends with him on Instagram. He has 10,000. Martin, the other co-founder.
Oh, Martin Dickey.
So it's just weird. I've always been a supporter of Brewdog, but there's just something that's weird about it. James and Martin are never seen together anymore. They never comment on each other's shit. No. Martin liked the post from the guy who took over from James announcing him as the new CEO. I saw on LinkedIn. I saw Martin had liked it. There's just some weird shit going on. I want to know what it is.
Well, I think the business has gotten pretty big. I mean, you have personal experience with businesses getting big and not speaking with the founders anymore and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure it's the same with those guys. It's just the business changes.
We actually had
shit.
Yeah. We had a so when Govs left Black Ops, we sort of had this conversation. Me and Eddie kind of had this. We were talking, not just me and Eddie. It was kind of like, Govs was like a very valued part of the team, but what the business needed was someone super organized to run the brewery.
Yeah,
it desperately needed. You knew this because you were helping with SOPs and stuff. And so navigating that kind of thing where it's like we want the founder to be there. We want them to have whatever title they want. That's all cool, but we want someone else to actually run the brewery.
Yes.
Or run the business or whatever the case is. It's a fucking awkward thing to navigate. And we didn't do a very good job of it, obviously, because Govs ended up leaving. And we didn't want him to, but this seems to be that sort of situation. It seems to be like, you're not going to be CEO anymore. Someone has decided you can't be, but we want you to leave with as much integrity and, we want to give you the title and all the rest of it. And whatever behind the scenes deal is going on to keep him engaged and keep posting about the company and whatever, kind of has that feel to it. Do you think?
All relationships have a start, a middle, and an end, mate. Business and personal.
That's the thing. That's why it's depressing. It's so fucking depressing. I don't know. Is it not?
That's life, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Got any good news?
That was not bad news. That was just me waxing philosophical, mate.
It is. It's true. It's depressing, but we've got questions in the group. I haven't looked at them. They're probably fucked up. I don't have any Hendo reacts. I've got one actually.
One Hendo reacts. Oh god, I'll try and do it on a single screen. That's all right. This Hawker's West Coast IPA.
Here we go. Let's screenshot that because that'll be the.
Right. Make that the cover shot.
Yep. Done. Oh wait, I'll do it again. Hang on. Just do it again. All right, that's good.
Quite tasty.
Aber champion winning a few years back.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember Mazen accepting that was his first Aber trophy for his own branded product.
Yeah. What did he say? Did he say something on the stage or something that was really?
Well, I knew he was wearing a hoodie, which I found kind of amusing.
That's right. I remember that. It's like black tie event. He rocks up in a fucking hoodie.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, I don't know if he's going on Thursday. I doubt it. I doubt it. It'll be
Well,
good
he
to.
said,
I'm looking forward to checking in with Maz though. He's a good bloke, and he's had some time off and after his VA, and hopefully he's feeling very rested and relaxed and all that sort of thing.
yeah, well, keep me posted. That's it. Where are you going again?
I haven't decided yet. Actually, I'm open
Oh,
to suggestions. So he lives in north side of Melbourne,
hmm.
um, and so I think he's beered out. So if anyone in the group has any suggestions of places we could go and have a nice meal and that sort of thing, I'm thinking of taking him to maybe Capitano if it's open. But
That sounds like some Italian type
it
situation, doesn't it?
is, yeah. So Capitano is by Casey Wall, ex Rockwell and Sons. I don't know if you remember that place on Smith Street in Collingwood.
Yeah.
Um, it's still there. I think it's Falco Bakery, which is still Casey, I think. But Capitano's over in Carlton, and it's like modern Italian cuisine. It's just fucking amazing.
I mean, you're not
If
going to go wrong in Italian and Carlton,
if
really, are you?
Mazen doesn't put out after that, I'll be very disappointed.
Wow. Well, as long as you get a video, maybe that'll cheer me up. Just slide into my DMs. You know. Oh God. All right.
Give him a
Let's
shitload of fucking Chianti and some Italian food, and I'm in.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Um, we did you want to? Did you watch? How about the F1? The F1 is actually good. The F1 is like the best thing
Yes,
that's happening because we haven't done a podcast since the last race, have we?
it's Miami.
Yeah, I don't think so because we skipped last week.
No, we did skip last
So
week. Yes,
yeah, so that's good. We got McLaren winning races. Oscar
Lando,
Piastri
what a legend.
driving well, other than get fucked over, but he was sitting there
Yes,
second for a while.
yes.
That's all
Danny
positive.
Rick doing well in the sprint.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That was
Danny
amazing.
Rick
So
doing well in the
we're sitting
sprint.
good.
It was so good when Lando won, and just everybody, all the other drivers' reactions when he was on his in lap, and everyone was just applauding him and all that sort of stuff. It was just really good. Even Verstappen, which I thought was really good,
Yeah, that
and
was cool.
that car was phenomenal. They knew they had a good car,
Yeah.
and even like some people were saying that like when Verstappen hit that bollard that it damaged the floor, he was already going faster
Well, Piastri was
before that.
keeping up with Verstappen with an inferior McLaren at the start of the
Yeah,
race.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's right. You know
So
why
there's
the
hope for F1
McLarens are so fast?
because his last name's Norris. No,
No,
sorry.
no, that's got nothing to do with it. It's because they're powered by
Oh.
Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Very good. All right.
You
Oh,
can
my
do like that's the thing, right? And I know Louis G is gonna like just go, nope, don't do it. But there's like McLaren bottles of Jack Daniels at duty free.
what are we talking?
He said the Louis G said that the bonded the 50% version of Jack Daniels was the biggest rip off, and I would agree with that. But Gentleman Jack is really good.
Gentlemen,
Um,
yeah.
and then Adam Shell, not that one, the other one, has also said that the Tennessee Fire, what's like their Fireball one, that's that's supposed to be good as a mixer because Adam Shell does
Okay.
cocktails. He's good at cocktails.
That's
And
fair.
there's the apple one and the honey one. But I don't know how I feel about the honey one
Apple
because
could be a good little combo.
yeah, apple might be okay. But the thing is about Jack Daniels, is for me, it's uniquely isoamyl acetate. It's banana ester in it, like a German Hefeweizen. It's the
Yeah, yeah,
same ester in it, right?
yeah.
And that's what I really enjoy about Jack Daniels.
That's fair. Just get the Stando then. Cheap.
Well, see, the thing is, right, is that I get 2 1 litre bottles for $95.
Let's do that.
That's
No
insane.
brainer.
Yeah, but I've already
Yeah.
got 2 at home anyway, and I've got a bottle of Gentleman Jack.
Well, it's not like
But
it goes off.
no, but what I actually need on this trip when I come back from this trip is gin. I'm out of gin.
Oh, okay.
So if anyone can suggest a gin in the Facebook group, I would be totally open to suggestions. It has to be available in Australian Lottie duty free or whatever the fuck it's called.
Can you get Australian gins, or is it?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
it's got to
when
be
you
in the
get off
duty
the
free shop.
plane and you get home, you get off the plane, you go through the duty free, and then you go through customs.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. So they've got to be big enough to be stocked in
duty free.
duty free. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 4 pillars or something like that. Maybe I actually don't know if the smaller ones are stocked in duty free. I'm guessing probably
Rookies are in
not.
there.
It's probably like, what's that?
Rookies will be in there.
Yeah. Rookies is good. That place
Rookies
is
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Have you done the tour there? It's super fun.
No, I haven't.
Worth doing for sure.
Yeah. I'm actually really looking forward to going back to Ho Chi Minh City on the weekend because of all the scooters.
So many scooters. So many
Millions
two-wheeled
of fucking scooters.
vehicles.
Yeah. Like when I went to Seoul, there was no Seoul because there was no scooters.
That's fair. Ho Chi Minh City's a fucking terrifying place. You'd probably like it because of that
I love
reason,
it.
but it's just
Love
fucking
it.
terrifying.
I love it because it's terrifying. It's just like and then Bangkok as well. Plenty of scooters in Bangkok too. So
oh yeah, Bangkok's fun. Yeah, I don't know about the beer situation. There's a few bit craft beer bars.
breweries, there's breweries. So the thing is, what I'm speaking about over at the Brew Asia Tech Sessions is in Vietnam. So basically, in Thailand, you can open a brew pub, but you can't make packaged beer to sell for takeaways or sell into the trade or anything.
Yeah.
That's illegal.
I've been
right?
to, yeah.
But if you're a brewery or if you have a brew pub, you can go and get your beer contract brewed and imported, and that's how you sell your cans and bottles of beer.
Yeah. And they're different beers. Like I've had some fucking shite brew pub beers and then had packaged product from the same brewery that tasted perfectly fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's actually what I'm speaking about in Bangkok is how to have a good relationship with your contract brewing manufacturer, because having been a gypsy brewer and being a head brewer of a contract brewery, I transcend both sides of the contract brewing relationship.
All right. Well, transcends a bit of a creative word to use there, but I get what you're saying. You're kind of making it sound like you're God, but no, I get it. It's
I could just say I've done both.
Can I transcend this podcast onto the next segment, because I've got 11% battery and I do not have a charger at home.
And
I'm nervous that if this ends, I won't be able to film the recording thing. Should we get into some questions?
Yeah, please.
Let's see what kind of chaos we have. So we've got a group.com/groups/Boss and the Brewer. We've got 374 members. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's a pretty active. It's reasonably active. Normally about around podcast day, it's pretty active. Every week we post in there asking what people's questions are, and we sort of encourage shit posting, so we expect them to be bad.
Absolutely, shit posting is encouraged.
Yeah, but we occasionally do get like decent posts, right? Occasionally. Yeah. All right, Ev Lloyd, when are you guys doing a live chat? Yeah, well, fucking, because we did that as the first like couple of episodes, didn't we?
We did, yes, but then we chose not to do it because we would say things controversial. Not that we edit the show, but
no. Is that why we stopped doing it? I feel like this wasn't a lot of people watching and live, and it was kind of like I think maybe I was the one who said we should stop doing it because it was kind of taking our focus away from actually putting out a decent podcast. It was kind of like fucking around with the people commenting and.
Oh, look, I guess, doing this sort of long form content and stuff like that, it's a conversation and you don't want to be distracted.
Yeah. I do like the idea of doing the occasional sort of live thing in the group, though, especially on a particular topic,
Mm.
that we're passionate about or something.
Yeah, of course.
Luigi, Imola, Grand Premio d'Italia podium predictions. Would the new upgrades make any difference? Ooh,
Is
yeah.
it Imola this weekend?
The Imola this weekend? Yeah, I think so.
Or is it Monza?
Let's have a little look-see. I think it's Imola.
That's cool. I love Imola. It's such a great track.
Emilia Romagna. 17,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's Imola,
17.
mate. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, it starts in 3 days. I think it's back to normal.
You
What do you
reckon?
think?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. It's gonna be Verstappen. It's a fast, it's a medium fast track, and I think the McLarens did really well in China, which was really interesting to see. They weren't expected to do well. A lot of slow chicanes and that sort of thing at Imola.
And
I
I
think
think
it's going to be
Piastri
a
will
close
get
one.
because I think Piastri got like half the upgrade, and I shouldn't
Yeah,
get the full upgrade this weekend.
I think it's going to be a close
Ferrari's getting an upgrade too this weekend.
Yeah. I think it's going to be close. Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull. I think it's going to be a close one.
Oh, that would be so good. Imagine if it was actually because last week, okay, Lando won, but there was a very fortuitous situation with the safety car.
But that had
He
nothing
didn't
to do
win
with
on
that.
pace.
He would have won it anyway. Yeah,
No,
100%.
he
He would
was
have
in
won it anyway.
fifth. No, you think so?
Yes. You have a look at the lap times. He would have won it anyway,
But it's
provided he
not
could have
just
got
lap times
past.
because he would have had to overtake.
That's right. That's the
There
only
wasn't
thing.
a lot of overtaking going on.
No, he got lucky from the safety car, but he was already doing faster laps than Verstappen.
No, I get that, but it doesn't mean he would have won. He wouldn't have won.
No, he wouldn't have gotten past Verstappen. He would have caught him.
No. Yes. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah, that was the bummer of the whole thing is Piastri was set to have probably his best result. Has he come second in an actual race before? I can't even think.
I don't think has he got a podium before? No, I don't think.
I think he's got a podium. He's won the sprint race.
Yes.
But that was the bummer. But yeah, okay, that would be fucking awesome if McLaren and Ferrari and Red Bull were actually close. I'm so excited about what Red Bull imploding. It sounds really bad, but as like a fan of the sport who wants to see chaos
With Adrian
and
Newey
entertainment,
going.
yeah. Newey talks about Max leaving, Lewis leaving Mercedes, whole Christian Horner thing. The whole fucking sport is in chaos, which is just so entertaining.
Yes.
Lucy. Hi, Lucy. Question: did Black Ops buy Black Ops?
Technically, Black Ops Craft Proprietary Limited bought Black Ops.
Can one go on a Black Ops safari to spot how many Black Ops there are in Black Ops? Can real Black Ops please stand up? Yeah, I don't get it either. This is not fucking advice on anything. I don't get it. Question: where would one person find the Black Ops VA report? ASIC, I assume.
Yes, you can buy it on ASIC.
You buy it on ASIC. Luke Miller, question: did you mean for the last ep to be exactly 120? There you go. See, I talked about this on the last episode.
What's that?
Oh wait, hang on. Did you say the last episode 120? No, the last episode wasn't exactly 1 hour 20. I don't think, was it?
Sure.
Oh, it was 1 hour. Oh, that's pretty good. 1 hour 20 and 8 seconds. No, I didn't. But that's cool because remember the one before was exactly 1 hour 12.
Yeah.
Was 1 hour 20, which is a multiple of 12.
Okay, good.
That was not intentional, but it was 8 seconds. So that doesn't count.
Okay.
No, not intentional. Luke Miller, will the BH crowdfund investors end up losing their money? If yes, do you think Black Ops will have just created a new group of people who were once their number one fans and consumers and turn them into massive BH haters in the end, detriment BH in the long term? I fully understand that question. Like if crowdfunding investors lose all their money, I built this whole business off the idea of a supportive group of people. And it wasn't always just investing. It was the ambassador group, the original crowdfunding investors, not equity crowdfunding, and then the equity crowdfunding. That
Mm.
was the whole idea of the whole business. And if they end up losing all their money, they're going to have to think up a different idea, of course. But I mean, maybe they have one.
How do you feel about like that with the, you're such an advocate for crowdfunding and stuff like that, and potentially, I mean, without knowing the details of what's happening, all these equity crowdfunding shareholders are going to basically wind up with nothing, having
It
done their
breaks my
time.
fucking heart, Hendo. I fucking hope that doesn't happen. And I don't understand. Like, I'm not included in any of this stuff that's going on, so I don't understand what's happening.
Mm.
But you read that report and of what's happened over the last 18 months and the amount of debt the company's racked up. I can't see a situation where everyone's getting paid. That to me would just be impossible.
Mm.
And I think it's fucking awful. I do think that you invest in something, hoping that there will be a great outcome in the end. And as long as the company is run properly, and if it fails, then you take the loss and you move on. I get that, but if the company, once you read that report, and then if someone else comes along who are current investors who buy it, and then the crowdfunding investors lose everything, that would be fucking awful if that happened.
Yeah,
And
because
they
that
would
was the
lose all of
thing.
their supporters.
You're always like a massive advocate of crowdfunding and that model and that sort of thing. And
well, I was a big advocate of transparency and honesty. And I think all this behind the scenes shit, that's not my jam. I'm not down with any of that. And I like the ASX. I like the listed companies.
Yeah. Do you think whilst you were, do you think you upheld that, like belief that you had that it was transparent?
Yeah, I did my absolute best to 100%. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And towards the end of when I was there, people didn't like it. They didn't like the idea of being honest with investors that things weren't all rosy. Yeah. And my position was that we should tell investors everything. Everything. And I was the only one who thought that. And that was a bummer, because I thought that was what we'd built the whole business on, was the idea that we would just tell everyone everything. And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But at least we're being fucking honest. And that's how I do business now, and that's how I've always done business. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's good or it's bad. It's just how I do things.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that's what I mean. I question everything, because I do wonder, like, the whole craft beer movement was kind of about the little guy coming in, having a crack, but if the whole thing just ends up with like big business people running things, it does just take all the fun out of it, doesn't it? Like all the people that supported the brand, like, why would they keep supporting it? Yeah.
I had an interesting question. Remember that time that I think it was when we first met at Curbside Bar.
Yeah.
Right. And it was you and Eddie and Govs and me were just hanging around having a chat, and you guys were like brew cult fans and all that sort of stuff. And I probably was being a bit of a fucking realist as to what the business is actually like and that sort of thing, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's just what I do. What do you think? What do you think future Dan would have done had he have rocked up to that conversation?
Oh, I don't even want to answer that, Hendo.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I think when you're in the mode of creating something and you've got all the energy and all the enthusiasm, and you've got a new marketing and you've got a new business and you've got new ideas, I think you need to be a little bit naive. It is just a thing. You have to be enthusiastic and a little bit naive. But I just have a problem when the naivety turns to dishonesty. That's the thing I'm not cool with. I think if once you get people investing in your business, like, it becomes their business. It's not yours anymore.
That's correct. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I do think that, like you said, I was a big fan of crowdfunding. I do think there is a problem with the way businesses are run, where, like, essentially there's two directors of a company, every single decision is made by them by default or explicitly or implicitly. Every single decision is made by them. If they don't talk to investors, they don't, and then the results are what they are. And it's not really how the ASX works. Like public companies have a bit more accountability than that.
Don't crowdsourced companies have to report to shareholders though?
Yeah, but reporting is different to actually communicating honestly. I mean, you have to file your annual reports that have the numbers in them, but an annual report is meaningless in this current environment. Like, look at that, read that VA report and how much has changed in 18 months.
Yeah.
How much debt has been racked up in 18 months. Like, an annual report is fucking useless.
Yeah.
Investors should have way more say. They should be getting monthly updates. I used to do quarterly updates when I was the CEO, and I would reveal a lot more than was legally required, and I would give everyone the full P&L if they wanted it. But that's not even enough. I don't think quarterly is even enough. I think if you're an investor in a company, there has to be a level to it. You know, not everyone should get every absolute level of access, but investors should have a say, 100%. It can't be one or two people deciding the fate of the company, because what happens if one or two people are just fucking shit directors? What happens then? Every investor just loses their money?
Do you still believe in
Nothing wrong with
crowdfunding as a concept?
I think there's very little difference between crowdfunding and actual investment
Like an
funding.
IPO?
And if you looked at the funding rounds I did with Black Ops, we did more private rounds than we did crowdfunding.
Yeah, okay.
And they're both very, very similar. They're exactly the same.
Private
Everyone had the
rounds
same
are
amount of
for
rights, same amount of shares.
Yeah, private rounds are for sophisticated investors.
Well, yes and no. I mean, family and friends rounds are considered private rounds. There's grey area definitions of what that means. Yeah. And I actually didn't really feel strongly that the people who invested in those rounds were that much more sophisticated than the crowdfunding investors.
Yeah.
But I just think generally, if it's crowdfunding or not crowdfunding, investors, depending on the constitution, just don't really have many rights. They just rely on the directors.
Yeah.
And if the directors are, not serving the interests of the investors, then they can do very little about it, and that's a shit system.
What was the percentage of the business that was owned by crowdfunded shares?
Pretty low percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean it's low to the people who put money in. Like, people put
no, of course not.
No.
I was just like, I was curious as to, sort of like the proportion of the business that was owned by as a result of crowdsourced funding and that sort of thing. It's really
very low. Very low. I think it was yeah. No, it was not a huge percentage. And the time we did that crowdfunding, that last one we did in 21, the business was absolutely on fire at that point. Like, we were in the AFR Fast 100, we were profitable, we were growing at a crazy pace. The team was good, the product was good. We were like listed number one on the craft beer survey. There was tap rooms were on fire. Like, that was what a time to be alive. You know what I mean? Coming out of COVID, it was like, holy shit, we thought it was bad, and then it was the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Any other questions?
There it is. Anyway, it's saying all of that. Will the crowdfunding investors lose all their money? I have no fucking idea whether they will. I fucking hope they don't. Having that whole conversation, that's not saying they will lose all of their money. I hope they don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Why are you recording on a Tuesday? That's technically your fault and my fault, or?
It's our fault.
Okay.
The reason is that Thursday is the ARBA dinner, and Wednesdays you go fishing.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's why we're doing it Tuesday this week. So it's a one-off thing. Fuck knows what we're doing next week.
Well, yeah, you're away next week, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be in Bangkok next week. This time, and on Thursday next week. So,
final question, Paul Metcalf. You have to check out one of the 12 horse rates from 2 weeks ago.
Oh yes, he mentioned that in the group. Did it win?
He's actually got a link to the race. Wait, let's watch this.
Did it win?
Okay, right.
Can I have that link?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got the race. It's 2 minutes. You should watch this. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Do a little Hendo Reacts. We can do one Hendo Reacts screen share.
Oh, hang on a second. Is it in the? Oh, there's actually a
It's a
video.
video. Yeah.
Are we allowed to show it?
That's a
Hang
good
on,
point. I have no idea.
probably not. This is probably going to count as gambling, and we'll all be fucked. And
I mean, it's probably best that this episode doesn't go to air anyway.
share sound. All right, can you see that?
I can see it. Yes, it's small, but that's fine.
How's that? Bigger?
So there is okay. Before you press play here, there's a horse called One of the 12.
Yes.
So this is something we say on the podcast regularly. If you're new to the podcast,
yes,
we might have some new listeners tonight. This
Our
is not
audience
no one in the
well.
group owns this, right? This is just a fluke.
What's that?
This One of the 12 horse.
Oh, the horse.
Yeah.
$10 says Louis G owns it.
Do you think he owns this fucking horse?
Absolutely.
No way. Okay, all right.
Or at least he's a part shareholder in it.
Turns out Louis G's the new owner of Black Ops and the One of the 12 horse.
New owner of the Boston the Brewer podcast as well.
Captain and co-founder.
I, for one, welcome our new Louis G overlords.
All right.
All right, let's
He'll probably turn up to your date tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, double date. I'm okay with that. Let's have a look here. Horses
the
go.
DMs.
Set, all clear from the back. They're racing at the 1,300 metres. Steely Girl left fast. One of the 12 shows good speed with Rush Attack on the outside.
What number's One of the 12? Must be number 3, maybe.
12 hours down on the rails. 2 lengths away is Call Me Artie. Then Witness to Love is back towards the rear on the insider. And last is Showboat, the one-time favourite. 900 metres left to go, approaching the first turn, and one of the 12 in front, a length and a half. Rush Attack. Look at
2 of the 12.
Just crowded a little bit deep around the first bend, out 3 wide there. Then Steely Girl in the centre, 12 hours the insider.
Very strong.
Length and a half away. Witness to Love, Call Me Auntie, and Showboat whipped them in. Down the side towards the 600 metre mark. At one of the 12 led, held together. Out by a length, Rush Attack. Look at Boy Kim. Then came Steely Girl to the outside, Call Me Artie. Then Witness to Love, and Showboat has to come from last to score. Around the turn, 400 metres left to go. One of the 12 in front from Rush Attack, shaking up on the outside. Then 12 hours, Sunny to come through down the outside. Steely Girl and Showboat starts to rev up out deeper. 200 metres to go. One of the 12 in front, out by a length and a half. Showboat getting up the margin with Steely Girl. One of the 12 tackled by Showboat and Steely Girl. Steely Girl out the wide with also Showboat. Showboat grabbed the front and Showboat beat, I'd say, the inside one of the 12. Third, Steely Girl. Then came Rush Attack was next. Further back in the field then was out wide, finishing off. Call Me Kim, Witness to Love, and 12 hours finished last.
12 hours. Okay, well, that's fucked everything.
Racing is dumb.
Yeah.
Racing is so dumb.
All right.
Why are we in 2024 when we race horses? Race fucking cars. It's way better.
You're not a fan of horse racing?
No, not really. No.
Do you watch Clarkson's Farm? The show?
No.
It's a good show. Yeah. We were watching it last night, and it's gonna be spoilers, but fucking animals die on farms. But it's kind of like, when it's an animal getting harmed, when it's like a pet, it's awful.
Yeah.
But then you turn the TV off, and then you just go have some bacon for dinner. It's not a big deal. But yeah, horse racing is definitely stupid, but it's also quite entertaining. So,
I don't know. I when I was in my 20s, it was just like the thing you did. You go to the. I actually dislike gambling in general.
Yeah, I'm not a big gambler, but yeah.
It's just like I used to work at Jupiter's, back in the 90s and stuff like that, and just the ridiculous amounts of money that go through there, and it's just so uncomfortable. Yeah,
you might as well put it into crowdfunding.
Well, it's gambling as well.
Too soon. Let's leave it there, Hendo. Enjoy tomorrow night. I want updates.
No. Well, my date, I'll tell you if Mazen puts out or not. Probably not. But
the DMs, okay.
And good luck to Adzi and Joel on Thursday.
100%. All right. Love your work, mate. Talk to you soon.